want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadesh, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and tell me this truth. Alright, well, I'm getting into this one. Alright, so can you marry your niece according to the Bible? The answer is clearly no, and this is really a shocker to me because since I've been in this truth, I have never heard anyone from Great Millstone teach a doctrine that is not true. But yeah, we all human. We all make mistakes. All right. But yes, it is definitely a no to marry your niece according to the Bible. All right. And even Christians know that. All right. And this is where I just googled, did anyone marry their supposed to be uncles? I just seen I mistyped it in the Bible, and this is what came up. Among the among the forbidden couples are parents, children, sisters, brothers. These are people you cannot marry. Grandparent, grandchild, uncle, niece, aunt, nephew, and between half siblings and certain close in-laws. All right, and these are all laws found in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. All right. Now I seen a brother um who normally does really great work. Yeah, he's still doing really great work. He did a video on this subject and he completely just bushes it. All right. I mean, he brought out scriptures to trying to prove it, and none of the scriptures he brought out to prove this proves it. All right. He just misinterpreted and misbroke down a couple of scriptures, and that was supposed to be his proof. And we're gonna get into that. All right, gonna get on into it. Let's get start with Ecclesiastes. All right, the 5th chapter and verse 1. And like I said before, never seen GMS do any videos that went off or didn't line up with the Bible. This is the first time. But like I said, I guess it's the Lord showing us that nobody's perfect. Alright? And there's always room for growth and to learn. Alright, this is Ecclesiastes 5th chapter, first verse. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. So sometimes before we rush and jump into something, we should slow down and really think about it, really go over it, and really look through it, and then break it down. All right, like um, like when this issue came up, I waited a while. Mainly, I wanted to see what's the brother gonna realize on his own and to take this down on his own without somebody pointing it out to him. Cause sometimes they happen. And two, you know, you try to let people correct their own mistakes first. But we can't be yes man in this truth. All right. Like one thing you can say, in the military, a yes man can get everybody killed. If you know some information and it's crucial, you need to let people know. All right. This is the second verse. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh. For Yahweh is in heaven and thou upon earth. Therefore let thy words be few. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by the multitudes of words. When thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it. For if he have no pleasure in fools, pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou should not vow than thou should vow and not pay it. So pretty much you don't make a promise to Yahweh if you ain't gonna keep it, alright? And alright, so it's better sometimes not to say anything at all. Alright. And I see a lot of brothers are taking that standpoint on this issue because I noticed it. A lot of brothers just not speaking on this at all because that's the safest way to go versus doing it wrong. But if the Lord has showed you whether it's right or wrong, then you got to go ahead and give the answer. And the Lord has showed me, that it goes against his laws for us to be engaging in that kind of behavior. All right, now this is Matthew chapter 5 and this is verse 18. For verily I say unto thee, till heaven and earth pass, not one jot or one tittle should no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. All right, and I know we all know that. But whoever therefore should break one of these least commandments and should teach men so, he should be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. So if you're teaching people they can sleep with their least, that means you are going to be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. All right. That is why it's so important, not to teach that. And all this hard work that I seen these brothers put in, and just going hard for years and never, going off or going to the far left and to mess that up. I mean, this is not like let's say, arguing back and forth of Esau came out red like a hairy garment. Oh, Esau was hairy. Now it just means he was red. Like it ain't like that, cause that's a little insignificant small thing. When you tell someone that it's biblical okay to smash their leaves, you are telling them to break one of Yahweh laws. All right, and so whoever therefore should break one of these least commandments and should teach men so, he should be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever should do and teach them, the same should be called great in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so you pretty much telling people to break the law. All right, and we know that the Lord say if you tell people to break the law, Matthew 13:41. All right, the Son of Man should send forth his angels, and they should gather out of the kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. And he should cast them into a furnace of fire, and there should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Pretty much, if you tell people to break the law, you're giving up your salvation. All right. There should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. All right. Cast into the lake of fire. All right. Now, let's get how people are going off with this. Let's get the first scripture they brought up. Genesis 11, all right, and 27, all right. And if I butcher these names, I'm not good at names, but yeah, I guess it's worth it, if this really helps people out. Now, these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, and Nahor, and Haran, and Haran begot Lot. All right, so this is letting you know who all the brothers were, and that Haran begot Lot, and that Lot was his son. All right, and we drop down to the 29th verse. And Abraham and Noah took them wives, and the names of Abraham's wife was Sarah, and the names of Nahor's wife was Makah, right? The daughter of Hera. All right, so pretty much he married his niece. All right, and now they're trying to use that to justify sleeping with nieces, but they are forgetting one very, very important fact that Abraham was brought back into the circumcision. All right, let's get Genesis in the 12th chapter, and let's start at the top. Then the Lord had said unto Abraham, well, unto Abram, get thee out of the country, and from the kinsman, and from the house, and unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thou great, and thou shalt be a great blessing. So this was the Lord telling Abraham to separate from his family. All right, and you drop on down, and it's saying Abraham took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance. They gathered together the souls, and they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. All right, so this was Abraham was leaving out of the land. All right, and now we're gonna skip over to Genesis, the 17th chapter, All right, the top verse. And when Abram was 90 years old in 99, so Abraham was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty Yahweh. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make a covenant between me and thee and will multiply thou exceedingly. Abraham wasn't brought back into the fold until he was 99 years old. So that means he wasn't with a covenant with Yahweh until he was 99 years old. So any kind of marriage and things that happened in that time, it was all going off. They was all living in a kind of a sinful nature. And Abraham was brought back in to righteousness and started living right. All right. So that's why you can't really use any of that. Third verse. And Abram fell on his face, and Yahweh talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. All right, and now we skip down to the 12th verse. All right, now that was the 9th verse is what I want. All right, and Yahweh said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you, and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you should be circumcised. So this was Abraham being brought back into the circumcision. It didn't happen in the beginning of his life. All right. So anything that was going on didn't happen in the beginning. It happened later on. So none of this justifies you sleeping with your niece. All right. They were living in sin back then. All right. Now let's go forward to Joshua. Let's see what was it. All right. All right. And Caleb said, He that smashed Kishah and take it, Joshua, and take it, him will I give Asher my daughter to wife. And Otaniah, the son of Kenah, the brother of Caleb, took it, and he gave Asher his daughter to wife. All right, and now with this, sometimes you can use other translations of the Bible, and you get the correct meaning, and then sometimes I believe it throws you off. Now, for one thing, I know brothers love to use other translations of the Bible to get in Leviticus 18 and 18 to where it says that you can't marry two sisters. Reason why? The King James Version and the Interlinear Bible, which is based on the Paleo Hebrew, does not say you can't marry two sisters. It says, Neither should thou take a wife to her sister to vex her, to uncover her nakedness beside the other in her lifetime. Pretty much, the King James Version in the Interlinear Bible says, and just show you that is what it says pretty much it's saying you can't have threesomes with two sisters, all right? Which we know you can't have threesomes with anyone, and to be the more exact. But this is saying you don't uncover the nakedness of two sisters beside each other in their lifetime. All right, now, but if you look at it at this same verse and you go into the other translations, because it don't say it in the King James and in the Lyric, this is where you get you can't marry two sisters. All right, so really the whole you can't marry two sister things is really not even in the scriptures, period. But that's where brothers get it. So Jacob wasn't going off by what he did. All right, but that's just what it is. You got to get another translation that's completely changing what the verse says to get to that. All right, but now let's go back to Joshua the 15th chapter. And the reason why I said it is because if you'll use another translation to get to that answer on that one, why not use the other translations right here? And this makes it crystal clear what it meant when you use the other translations. All right, NLT. All right, and also the son of Caleb's brother. All right, all right. So it tells you he is the son of Caleb's brother right here. Was the one who conquered it. All right, so This is a verse about first cousins being married, not uncles and nieces. All right, and I looked through the scriptures and I tried to find any time that Israel was living in righteousness and under the covenant was the uncles and nieces married, and so far I have not found it. Period in the scriptures. All right, so my guess would say it just don't exist. Now I said that you are teaching people to break the law, so let's get where this is in the law. All right, so we gotta get Leviticus okay 18th chapter again, and this we're gonna start at the top. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your power. After these things of the land of Egypt wherein ye dwell should ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan which I bring you should ye not do, neither should you walk in their ordinance. And they was doing all kind of incest marriage. All right, and this is what it was talking about. You should not do. You should not do my judgments. You should do my judgments and keep my ordinance to walk therein. I am the Lord, your power. Ye should therefore keep my status in my judgments, which if a man do, he should live in them. I am the Lord. I am the Lord. All right. So this is Yahweh said, keep his status and his judgment. None of you should approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. All right, now we're gonna skip down to the 12th and 13th verse. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister; she is thy father's near kinsman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister; she is thy mother's near kinsman. Now, I'm putting a video clip at the end. Your aunts and your nieces have the same DNA connection to you. All right, I'm gonna put a video at the end to show people how DNA works. So if it says it about your aunts, the same as goes for your nieces, cause the DNA is the exact same, and these laws were put into place to where people um, appropriating with people whose DNA is too close to theirs and will cause you to have birth defects and stuff like that. And that's one way you can know whether something is correct in the Bible or whether a breakdown is right. If something has a negative effect or a negative outcome for you, like it's a negative outcome to you sleeping with your niece, then it's not in the scriptures. All right, it's a negative outcome to having anal sex with a woman. It messes her up to where she can't use the bathrooms. You might be shitting on herself from time to time. It just destroys everything down there in that area. So that's how you know you ain't supposed to be having anal sex with anyone. Anything that causes you harm is usually it means you breaking the law. This causes you to have kids with all kind of mental issues and all kind of infirmities and disabilities. In the state of Texas, actually goes further than what's legal in the Bible. Because in the state of Texas, you can't marry first cousins. They say the DNA um, comparison needs to be below 10% in the state of Texas. Because first cousins have 12.5% same DNA. In the state of Texas, say that ain't good enough. All right. But the Lord said you can't appropriate with anyone who has 25% of your DNA. That is how this works. All right. And 25% of your DNA or above. All right. So that is how this works. So that eliminates all the close family members. Now, first cousins, because which we just showed in Joshua, is biblically okay. All right. It breaks no laws to marry your first cousins. Now we know we see that as being taboo, but it's not breaking laws. All right. And let's face it, none of us would marry our second cousins, all right? And none of us even know who our third cousins are. All right? Let's be honest, no one keeps track of who their cousins are past seconds anyway. And if you go down to seconds, that brings the DNA. Once you get past that, it's like below 3% same DNA. All right, once you get past second cousins, so that is why these laws are in place to keep people whose DNA is too similar from having sex with each other. All right. And another thing I wanted to state, how serious it is to take everything serious in this, because in the ancient world, if something like this was taught, that person would have been put to death. All right. The reason why they would want to kill that person before they spread this kind of toxic, um, thinking to the rest of the society. All right. Because it's even toxic to even think about sleeping with your niece. All right. But no one's perfect. I know why Apostle Tar put it out there, because it was a good debate or something like that. But you don't want to end up on the wrong side of this one. All right. Because this one, being on the wrong side of this one, it's a salvation issue. All right. Like I said, it's certain things you can be on the wrong side of, and it's just for your edification. It's just for the elect edification. But being on the wrong side of this uncle niece thing, it pretty much takes your salvation away. So it's very important to get this one right. All right. Incest is a big no-no in the Bible. No, you cannot sleep with your niece according to the Bible. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.
With my third cousins existing here, my fourth cousins off this way, and so on. But the interesting thing to ask is, how genetically similar am I to anyone else on this chart, and how can I use the chart to tell? Well, to do that, we need to know two facts. The first one is that children share half of their DNA with each parent, and they share about half of their DNA with a sibling. So, knowing that, we can take a look at, for instance, how similar I am genetically to my aunts and uncles. But to be sure, before we go any further, we should remember that every individual alive today has a genome that is more than 99% similar to every other person alive today. So when we talk about DNA shared between two people, we're talking about the proportion of that less than 1% that makes us all unique individuals. Okay, so my aunt and uncle have some DNA. They share half of their DNA approximately with my parents, and I took half of my parents' DNA. So we've halved this genome twice. 50%, 25%. I share about 25% of my genetic makeup with my aunts and uncles. But their children took half away from them. So although I share 25% of my DNA with my aunts and uncles, I only share 12.5% about. Really, it ranges from like 7 to 14 with my first cousins. The way you can tell is this. Let's take two different people. Let's, for instance, choose me and my first cousins once removed. We take a journey up to the most recent common ancestor and then go down, having the DNA shared every step of the way, except we skip the most recent common ancestor. So I share 100% of my DNA with myself. We go through one generation, so we're going to halve once. There's the most recent common. We halve again as we go down to my aunts and uncles, so that's halving twice. Then we halve a third time, and then a fourth time. So we've gone from 50%, 25%, 12.5%, somewhere around like 6%. Then 3%, then about 1.5%, and so on. This is where you will see that first cousins once removed, that are your cousin's children, and first cousins once removed that are your parents' cousins, have the same, or roughly the same, genetic similarity to you. To get from me to these people, I go, as we already did, 50%, 25%, 12.6. To go from me to here, we go 50%, 25%, 12%, 6%. So both of these first cousins once removed are approximately maybe 6 some odd percent similar in DNA makeup to me. Now, CGP Grey also makes the